Greetings, everyone. As promised, I was going to put a video/audio out this weekend, and that's what this is. So, first thing I wanted to do was give an update on the state of the league. We have currently 24 active owners out of the 30 teams, which is pretty good. I mean, we'd like to have 30, and I think we will have 30 before too long. So if you have some friends that maybe were on the fence before, but you think would be interested, please pass the website along to them and encourage them to join up. The earlier the better. We're about 2 weeks behind season start. You know, the season obviously started on Thursday, and I'm sure a lot of us were watching the results with an eye to the players that we've drafted. I hope people are happy with the teams they've put together. Everyone I've talked to seems to be happy, and there's always that initial anticipation that you think you have a good team and just need to see how that pans out. The contract spreadsheets have been sent out to everyone. You all should have received yours. I have received 3 back in the mail already. I did get one email stating that someone couldn't open it. Now, you do need to have Excel to open these files, and Excel, I'm sure most of you are aware, is a Microsoft Office common sort of tool that comes on most computers. If for some reason you don't have Microsoft Office, you can send me an email with the players' names and the years you want to sign them for, and I'll plug them into your spreadsheet and verify that they are under the cap. Now, with the, you need to get under 60 million. That is the hard cap, but you probably want to leave yourself some operating room in case you need to pick up some emergency players, because there will be cap implications for that as well. I would leave yourself, if possible, at least a couple $100,000, because I think we'll probably have minimum transactions for bringing up minor leaguers of $100,000 for the use of them. So you want to leave yourself a little bit of flexibility if you can. The next 2 deliverables that I'm working on right now are just the fine-tuning of the engine. The engine is working. It's running complete seasons using NHL teams right now, and the good thing is the results are as would be expected from the teams last year, where the top 16 teams are showing up generally at the top, and the bottom 16 are at the bottom. I mean, there is some variance. I told the folks that were able to participate in the TeamSpeak meeting the other night that I was a little chagrined that Philadelphia tends to fall out of the top 16 more than be in it. But, when you think about it, last year they made the playoffs in the last day of the season, and they probably were the 18th or 19th best record since the West was so strong last year. The other deliverable that I'm working on, actually I really got to start it this weekend. I gave some thought at the end of last week how I'm going to put it together, but it's just a lineup management tool where you will log on in the owners area, and your team will be displayed for you to choose your top 20 or your 20 players that are going to be playing on any given night and submit the lineup. Now, that lineup will remain constant, barring injuries from game to game, unless you go in and make a change to it. Now, as this is our first year, we are still fleshing out some of the more detailed rules surrounding player acquisition and retention. The initial round of the drafting has obviously been completed, and players will be signed from anywhere between 1 and 5 years. But as we move into the off season next year, the normal process is going to be there's going to be a free agent period and an amateur draft period. Now, just because this is our first year, there's not a clean break in there as to who may be available for free agency and who may be available in the amateur draft. I mean, you got your Taylor and Tylers who are playing in the NHL this year. We have to make a determination whether they're going to be rookies or available via free agency, because they will have NHL stats next year, or if they're going to be made part of the normal free agent process. So whether they're going to be a rookie free agent, whether we're going to be able to draft them in the amateur draft or the free agent portion of the player acquisition. Now, the one thing we are going to do, we are going to follow the NHL quite a bit as far as how the drafting will be handled. The number of rounds has yet to be determined. I would imagine it's going to be somewhere between 5 to 10. That's sort of a ballpark estimate right now. Alright, let's take a look at some of the questions that we received via email. One question was, can we trade draft picks, and what is the total number of draft picks? As mentioned earlier, the total number is going to be between 5 and 10, maybe 8, but at least 5. So I would feel comfortable if you're doing some trades that a draft round a pick that you're giving up that is 5 or lower would be fine. Another question we received was, is it possible to trade with the dummy teams, the league run teams, the 6 of them right now, and it is. What we're going to do is we're going to assign each team someone to look after them and until they're actually filled out. That's the overall goal, to get them filled out, but until that point we'll have someone looking after them. In the meantime, if you're trying to flesh out your team and you're interested in making a trade for one of the players that are on those 6 teams, you can send the trade request to me, and I will either review it and or pass it off to someone else to review to see if it's an equitable trade from both sides. So in the meantime, until the teams have been assigned to the extra players, you can go ahead and forward those requests to me directly. Another question dealt with the interchangeability of the left wings and right wings. That is considered, the game engine will identify that as being played out of position, whether it's a center playing left wing or a right wing playing left wing. If it doesn't have the position on the player card, then they are unable to play that position without the penalty. That's what makes the guys with the multiple positions and the ones with the forward the most valuable, because they have the most flexibility in where they can be moved to. Another question that came in surrounding the difference between the restricted and unrestricted free agency. The way the league will work is the first time that you get a chance to re-sign a player, once his contract runs its term, he will be a restricted free agent. You will have an opportunity to sign him. It's actually a little bit better than just being able to match any other offer. You're going to be able to match any other offer, and only matching 75 or 80% of it. The actual percent amount has not been identified yet. If you do not want to match it, or well, I guess if you just choose not to match it, then you will be awarded draft picks commensurate with the amount of money that the player is being signed for. Alright, and the last question I'd received had to do with the ability to, the question was, can you drop players during the middle of the year and pick up guys from the free agent pool? And that is not going to be allowed during the regular season. What's going to happen is that's why you have a 25-man roster, and if you need to dip in beyond the 25-man roster, you're not going to be able to sign a restricted or a free agent out there that may be having a great year this year. All those players will be available to all the teams as part of the free agent process next year. So what's going to happen in those cases is a player will either be assigned to you, or you'll be able to choose a player from a low AHL caliber pool, so you really don't want to be dipping into there too much. Alright, that's about all the questions that we had, so I want to keep this thing under 10 minutes, so I'm going to shut this thing down now. But I know a lot of you look forward to the start of the league, and I am as well, so we'll talk to you guys real soon. Take care.